Hi, I'm SJ with SJ Tarot Therapy, and this is a pick a pile reading about your twin flame dynamic. So, the dynamic with your twin, the dynamic when you met, the dynamic while in separation, and the dynamic while in union. There are 3 piles. Pile number 1 has a quartz star. Pile number 2 has a fluorite crystal. And pile number 3 has a selenite crystal. Feel free to listen to all 3 piles because you may discover some qualities with your twin in those piles. Also, if you feel that none of the piles truly resonated, I will be doing more of these coming up, and I will also be diving deeper into them. So be on the lookout. Like and subscribe so you can be notified of when I'm posting these videos, and I would really appreciate it to help grow my channel. So thank you. Also, I would like to talk about briefly what it means to be in union with your twin, and the card that I pulled one card for each pile for what it means to be in union. Twins are 2 parts of the same soul, 2 halves. So when they come together, they express as one soul energy. And you haven't always come into union with your twin in every life. There have been lives where you have come into union. And each time you've come into union with your twin, you have expressed differently, just like any soul will express differently in each life, or in this life, you express different than those around you. And the twins are the same when they come together. So the card that I drew today for these piles is how you would express with your twin in union in this life. If the other piles resonate, it could be because that was an expression that you had with your twin in a past life. You will see crossover defining characteristics where you think, well, my twin feels our union is similar to pile 2, but also pile 3. And all the twins are going to experience a variation of all the expressions. It's just the level at which they're experienced and expressed. So that's just a disclaimer that these piles aren't exclusive. They can very easily cross over, and they're not really right or wrong. It's just what triggers in you when you hear them explained. So let's get started. If you chose pile number 1, you chose the quartz star crystal. Quartz is an amplifier. It can also hold intentions. It can clear energy if it's in the form of fog. So like a denser energy, the quartz can clear, whether it's a mental or just an energetic fog or heaviness, the quartz can clear that. You and your twin very much amplify each other's energy. It can sometimes feel so strong that it feels out of this world. When one twin is feeling a heaviness or like a mental fog while in separation, the other twin may feel a need to clear their space or cleanse, do a purification of some sort. It could be through diet or exercise or even cleaning or organizing their space, because they may be sensing that their twin needs that balancing while the twin is struggling to find it themselves. So if you are experiencing a heaviness or a fog, your twin may very well be feeling the need to clear and cleanse their space and their physical bodies. The card that I drew for how you express in union in this life, and you may not come into union in this life, but the moments that you have come together, you've gotten glimpses, and it is the yang energy. Yang energy is active, it's fire, it's movement, it's heat. When you and your twin met, it was like an explosion. Anytime you and your twin touch, you could feel that physical explosion. You and your twin sense each other very strongly in the physical, in your bodies, especially when you touch. But even when you don't touch, the manifestation of the union with your twin is very physically based. In fact, when in union, you may have a very active sexual life, and also just you may both be very active people, especially together. It could be more fitness related, nutrition related, and you may feel that pull in separation. And if there's times in separation where you're feeling the very opposite of that, your twin may be feeling it very strongly to be active. They're trying to help balance you out, and vice versa. So it's important in your dynamic to be very mindful of how you feel physically and to take care of yourself physically and to be active. When you two physically come together, it could very well feel like an explosion. Your union is meant to manifest in the 3D, to create, pull ideas down from the mental plane, taking emotions from the emotional plane and drawing them through the physical. That could be building a structure, or, like I said before, being physically active. You may be drawn to warmer climates with your twin. There is a negative side to this type of union, which is a burnout. Too much heat can dry out like the emotions and make the mental space foggy. And that quartz crystal is meant to clear. So the twins are in your dynamic, are your type of dynamic, are trying to balance out that fogginess that can come from that heat. They're trying to keep emotions alive without burning those out and kind of negating them, really getting too distracted in the physical where the other realms of physical or mental and emotional are not being tended to, and so there becomes an imbalance where it's too physical and things are being ignored. Physical symptoms of imbalance here would be dry skin, dry hair, being dehydrated, being sensitive to the heat. And if there is a burnout, there could be a cold. So that you need the heat to keep the movement in the dynamic, in the union, in the energy between you. Being active and moving is very important. It's a way that you to connect in separation. There's a strong desire to be touching each other. You may just crave being with each other, like, because you want to be warm, physically be in each other's arms to get warm. And so if you're in separation and you're always cold, it's because you want to go get that yang energy with your twin. So you need to go be physically active or go out in the sun and get warm. Nurture yourself with a warm blanket. Take a warm bath. Your word and your dynamic is inspiration. The dynamic inspires you. Now that you have met your twin, it's inspired you in your life and your creativity. It's that pulling ideas down and manifesting them in the physical. You feel inspired to do that. You feel inspired to be physically active since meeting your twin. Now, if you haven't met your twin, you have a yearning to be inspired, like you're searching for something that inspires you. And what I just explained about the yang energy could very well be a path for you to feel that inspiration. Your feeling inspired by the dynamic helps your twin. Your twin's word is discernment. Your twin struggles in the connection to understand it. Your inspiration helps them to get out of their head and get out of that mental fog that can happen. They've become very conscientious of their decisions now and the decisions they've made in their life and the decisions they're making now. They want to express in that yang energy, but their thoughts hold them back. They may not allow that spontaneity. They question it. They've become maybe hyper aware of what is the right thing to do, the right decision to make. Because now that they know you as their twin, even if they haven't truly acknowledged the connection in those words, there's an awareness there now that they can't ignore, and it makes them question everything in their reality. And your inspired energy helps free them and pull them out of that mental fog So, any time in separation where you're feeling inspired, it could be because your twin really needs that from you right now. What ignited in your twin when they met you was the shadow. All of a sudden, your twin became aware, very aware of their shadow side. They have gone into maybe a darker space within themselves. It was the journey that they needed to take. That was the reason why you crossed paths that very first time. There's things they're uncovering within themselves that they didn't want to face. And that is what began for them. It's contributing to that discernment that makes them kind of a deer in headlights at times. That's why they need your inspiration, that energy to balance them out, to just keep going, to not get bogged down with that heavy energy of the shadow. What unlocked for you was Thanatos, which is the death card in the tarot. So a lot died for you when you met your twin in the form of beliefs about yourself, beliefs about relationships and what love is, what true connection is. So you've been experiencing a intense clearing of beliefs that weren't yours, most likely. You got them from parents or society. Especially in the separation, it challenges you, and that's where you get inspired. It actually inspires you in separation to know that your twin is out there and that this connection supersedes all and it perseveres. It's always there. That inspires you more than it makes you feel any other way, like sad or angry or depressed or alone. It's more like it inspires you. And if you feel at times it doesn't, just know how important it is to feel that inspiration in those times, that you are being witness to a reality that you were taught doesn't exist or shouldn't exist. So you and your twin, when you met, went on a huge journey within yourselves from the moment you met. That's what you both have been working on now, ever since that day. How your twin perceives you is the crocodile. Patient, waiting, passive, emotional. At times, your energy for them could feel suffocating, and that's not necessarily meant to be negative. It's just that your twin isn't used to that level of steadfastness that you possess, that level of patience. They're not used to that. And they're also not used to that inspirational energy. It doesn't fit into what they were taught and how they were taught to think. So it can feel overwhelming because when you hold those spaces of the crocodile and inspiration, your twin needs that, but it's also very unfamiliar to them. They feel like you are very powerful. They also may feel that they've known you from past lives, like you feel very ancient to them. They can sense that long connection that's been enduring through many cycles with each other. They may feel that you have a hard exterior because of what you've been through, whether they know what you've endured in this life in your past or not, they can sense it. You are the anchor for the emotions in this dynamic. Again, the union is that yang fire energy that can very much dry out the emotions, and you may feel that very strongly. You may struggle with balancing the emotions in this. It's like super intense or they're not there at all. When they're when you're very deep in the emotions, your twin can feel it and it can feel overwhelming for them. That's not a bad thing. They may need that, but they can feel it. They feel like you caught them off guard when they met you. The connection caught them off guard. Almost like they feel like you did a sneak attack on them. They were not expecting to experience such a strong pull towards somebody. They didn't know that somebody could have such a power over them the way you have with them. How you perceive your twin is the tarantula. Tarantulas are how you feel about your twin and how you perceive your twin is the tarantula. Patient as well. Creative. You're very aware that they are in their shadow. They're doing shadow work. They very much desire you, especially if you are the feminine. If you're not the feminine, the divine feminine, then you see they embody that divine feminine in them. If you are the divine feminine, then you perceive them to very much revel in your femininity, your divine femininity. They're very drawn to it. They struggle with finding balance and trusting this connection. They can't ignore it, but they have trouble trusting it, that you are always there, that they are safe in this connection with you. It has nothing to do with them not feeling safe with you. It's they're not used to that connection, but there's something about the connection that does feel like home to them. And so again, they can get very caught up in their thoughts, and they may even overdo the physical activity. They may be a very sexual person because if they get caught in their head, then they're stuck in their head. It becomes too heavy for them. So they try to stay out of that realm, and they do it by overcompensating maybe in the physical. But that's where they struggle to find balance with their thoughts and then the emotions that you hold and then the physical energy that they feel the most natural in, or they use it to cope. And then they can just become like that discernment factor of a deer in headlights, where they are just don't know what to do. You perceive them as at times sidestepping the connection or trying to avoid the work that they need to do in the connection, avoid that shadow work. They are in the shadow work, and at times they do stand still within it to stop the process or to stop the forward momentum. It's almost like a pause. One way that they may avoid the work is through physical activity. This person may be, you perceive them as having a creative side, and that is that yang energy that they really can create in this third dimensional realm, where they're go-getters. They can, if they say they're going to do it, they're going to do it. Now, what was triggered in the separation for your twin is the mystic. They can't unsee what has been ignited within them about that you exist now, and now they're in their shadow and they're seeing it. They're having to work through it. So they're on a healing journey. This separation is really amplifying all the things that they really were trying to not face. They're also looking for you, almost like they need some relief from feeling like they're going it alone. And it's that inspiration that you carry. That's what they're looking for. Energetically, they really need that. That's the light that they're looking for, so they don't get too bogged down in the darkness, so they don't get lost. They're afraid they might get lost. So they need you to hold that unwavering, patient, waiting space. Now, that doesn't mean you need to actually wait for them and not experience other connections. It's not like that. It's more just that you can continue to live a good life, and knowing the connection is there, it inspires you that you can do both at the same time. You can live a good life in separation while knowing your twin is out there. They can do that too. They can go on this deep journey within themselves while taking care of themselves and continuing to be creative and physically active. So they need you to keep a levity about you regarding this connection, and to also acknowledge the emotions that come up in you. It helps them to manage the emotions that are coming up in them within themselves. They're just seeing a lot right now in the separation about themselves. They're seeing how fragile they really are, that they can be affected by a connection like this. They're not that intimidating exterior that just doesn't dive into emotions or has emotions. They are, but it still is uncomfortable for them, so they try to stay out of those spaces. They go there, they come out, they go there, they come out. It's not like they're in their shadow every day, all day long. They go there, they get out. They go there, they get out. But they're seeing that when they go there, that they are vulnerable in those spaces, and it's okay. And that it is bringing up things for them, and that's okay. But then they get out. It's not a comfortable place for them. That's why your energy, they kind of need you to anchor certain things for them, because they really can't go there themselves. Now, what was triggered for you in the separation is the crone energy. This is, a wisdom, a maturity. You're getting your footing in this. I think you understand it more, this connection, more than your twin does. You're more comfortable in it. Like I said, it inspires you. You may be in this separation phase just really taking care of yourself. And if you're not, then this is saying that you need to. And it goes back to that physical energy, just taking care of your physical body. Maybe it's just taking walks, or, looking into alternative medicine remedies. You might be doing that already and feeling drawn to do that, feeling inspired to do that. You're very much seeing the big picture here with your connection to your twin, and you're trusting it much more than your twin. You may be seeing a lot of synchronicities. They are messages from your twin and from your future self is talking to you. You're getting messages that feel like what they're trying to say, because it really is you in the future trying to get you to that place where you are in union with your twin. So these messages are catching your awareness. You can feel that their divinity. They're like breadcrumbs. It's what's helping you trust this process in the separation. It's giving you that quality of being patient and waiting. You may have a tendency to get a little weighed down with the responsibility that you feel like you need to hold, because you are I don't want to say the wiser of the two between you and your twin. Just the more you just understand what's going on here, and it feels like a responsibility, because your twin might feel in and out of it, and they still prefer to distract themselves when they can from everything that this has stirred up in them, and you don't do that. So it can feel heavy and burdensome, and it might make you forget your own levity, and that it's okay to have a lightness about you and a softness, to dive into your own, femininity, to really cultivate your feminine side. However you need to do that. It might be on a very physical level, like things that make you feel feminine. Whatever means feminine to you is what you need to keep in mind for yourself. I feel that this connection has inspired you sexually. Now you may only allow partners into your life that are mature sexually, that the flings, or the sexual experiences where you are not able to express yourself fully sexually because the partner you're with is just immature sexually. You don't want those experiences anymore. You want mature experiences, because you're coming into your sexuality since meeting your twin. That it's more about that Kundalini exploration of the body and breath work in the sexual experience, and working with orgasms. There's just, so you may even be celibate right now because you're being discerning. So, discernment, the discernment energy that your twin holds also helps you. It's not a negative thing that your twin holds that word and that energy. It's your twin's wisdom, and it helps you to become much more mindful of your feminine and sexual expression. Now, if you're not the feminine, then if you're the masculine, then it's your masculine expression, and you're expressing that in a more healthy sexual way when you're sexual. As if you're the divine masculine, you are harnessing the feminine of the sexual partner that you're with. If it's not your twin, you're holding that feminine side of your partner as sacred, much more than you used to before you met your twin. So, like I said, you might be celibate right now, and don't let that make your energy cool off or feel like you have to have a tougher exterior. It's quite the opposite. It's more that you're harnessing your sexual energy for when you are able to express it with somebody who can appreciate it and can hold it the way you need them to hold it, where they give you a safe space to express it in the way now that you want to express it, which is much deeper, longer, like a richer experience, more spiritual experience. So that is what I have for pile number 1. Thank you so much for listening. Pile number 2, you chose the fluorite crystal. And fluorite is a very powerful stone that can clear negative energy. It's very healing. It can neutralize negative energy and even transmute it into positive energy. Your connection with your twin, it has been very healing for you both. It has healed things that have happened to you both in the past before you knew each other. And in finally coming together and meeting, it has helped give you an understanding of maybe why those things happened to you or your twin in the past. And it could have almost filled in a gap that somehow made things make sense. And also, the meeting of your twin could have taken the negative charge out of those experiences, whether consciously or unconsciously. That's what the path of you and your twin is rooted in, is a healing energy. And together, the way you express is higher power. When you are in union, the expression is higher power. This is a healing energy. This is getting out of the negative energies and ascending into the higher levels where you can see from a bird's eye view on your life, on the connection. That can be a very healing place to, when you get out of certain details of experiences, the actual traumas, when you chunk up really high, you can begin to better understand and see them in a different way. On one level, they were traumas. On a higher level, they helped you evolve and grow and love yourself more. And that's what your union with your twin is about. If you come into union in this life, or the moments you've come together has felt very divine. There's a softness to your union. That's not to negate any powerful, intense energies and exchanges that you have with each other. All twins experience all the layers of it all, but a big overarching energy with your dynamic with your twin is a softness of feeling that connection in a way where it feels safe, and you both have a knowing, a gentle knowing. It's about each other and the connection. It's like a subtle knowing. There's a real soft energy between you two that feels like nurturing, that you guys need that. This connection feels very emotionally driven, more than a physical, more than a mental. This feels emotional. The healing is emotional healing. The experience is very much felt between you two in the emotional space. The word for you in this connection is expectancy. It's that divine knowing that you expect this union to form, to come together, that you will always hold that expectancy, that knowing that the twins are and will come together, whether in this life or the next cycle. That expectancy gives you a sense of just knowing. You don't need any validation, because something inside you just knows, even though there might not be any proof of it. And that really helps your twin, because your twin's word is awakening. And they are really beginning to see the light. They're seeing a brand new world, and they don't know what to expect from it, but you do. So in your expectancy, you hold a space for your twin to just be in the excited energy of awakening, where they're safe to be there. It's that nurturing space that you hold for your twin, of like, it's okay to wake up now. It's okay to see your life in a different way now. What ignited in your twin when they met you is the pilgrim. So it set them on a journey. They don't know what the outcome of this journey is. They don't really understand why they are on this journey. They just know that they are on this journey now, that something's different. They've awakened to that fact. And that's where your expectancy holds a space for them, because you know what the outcome is, even if you haven't seen it yet yourself. There's a knowing, because this is past life unions with your twin. You're much more just innately aware of them. You don't even have to try. There's just a connection to that divine union space that you hold, because you trust in it so much. The past life unions have really imprinted you, whereas your twin they've forgotten. And so that's why they're awakening in this life. It feels very brand new to them. They may have like a newer energy, just a beginner's mind, but a willingness to learn, a willingness to go on this journey, an openness to kind of see what happens, see what will unfold. But there's still a sense of being unsure as the pilgrim. They may question at times, why are we doing this? Why do I feel drawn to you? Why do I think about you all the time? Like I don't understand. Why can I not get off this train? You just can like nod and smile like, yeah, I know. I I know it all. I understand this. And it's okay. Just keep going. It's just you're just holding that energy like you're okay. It's okay to be here. What ignited for you when you met your twin was the Bardo. The Bardo is the space in between. It's a transition space. It's a transitional energy. It's the liminal space. It's where you're not who you were and you're not who you're meant to be yet. That's what ignited for you. It's that expectancy. That's where that energy lives because you haven't seen that union in this life. But you're learning how to find a comfortability in this space. You're finding a way to be in this space for yourself because you don't have proof. And you're learning how to be okay with that in this life. Like you have an inner knowing and you're being asked to trust that inner knowing without the proof. And then there's your twin who just is so brand new to this, they feel that way in this life. And then they're on this new journey that they don't even really know why and what's at the end of this. And is there an end? And what's been ignited in you to be in the Bardo is to hold that knowing that this space is meant to be here. This is part of the twin journey, is the space in between. That it's an intentional space. It feels nebulous and it feels just like a space that just needs to get crossed, but there's so much richness here. The way your twin perceives you is the horse. Powerful. You have an endurance about you, a stamina. While your connection with each other feels like you really feel each other in the emotional plane, they look at you as having an ability to really, push through all that. You don't have a heaviness about you. You have a power about you that can move through, like an agility. You carry them when they are unsure of what to do next or how to be next or what to do with this emotion, what's coming at the end of this, why your energy keeps them going. They find you to be very beautiful. They can't help but adore you and admire you. There's something grounding to you. It feels tribal. You may have a connection to indigenous tribes. It might actually be in your DNA, but you may also just feel drawn to indigenous cultures. You may be actually drawn to horses. Your twin knows you'll always be there. There's something about a loyalty about you. How you perceive your twin is the crow. Even though they have a beginner's mind, there is something wise about them. They may say things that hold a lot of wisdom. They may like trinkets. Maybe you gave them a trinket and they hold on to it. They value it. they are more spiritually in tune than they may let on. They're on this new journey now, knowing that they're in this connection with you. They can't understand it. They don't know where it's going, but they notice the synchronicities too. The divine messages that are coming through, they are seeing it. I think you know that they have so much potential to grow, and their willingness, there's a willingness there, an eagerness to grow and awaken in this life. But you actually might be surprised at how much they do notice that they maybe aren't saying to you or haven't said to you, or maybe they have. They may have communicated how synchronistic it was that they met you. Because there's an inner knowing there too, you know, they're your twin, and your union together is that higher power. It's a very angelic realm. It's that healing. It's you two together could go out into the world and do healing for other people in some way, shape, or form. And your twin may be very kind of just naturally into alternative medicine. They have a natural knowingness, but they don't flaunt it. And they still feel like they have a lot to learn. They don't act like an expert in any of that realm. They're not experts spiritually, but they have an awareness about that realm, and they have dabbled in it. They may be a lot more heady than you. They perceive you as being more grounded, and they can get a little more in their head and in their thoughts about things. It's interesting that I connected to a very emotional connection between you two. That's what intrigues you about your connection, is that neither one of you really sit in the emotional space or are super comfortable there. Your twin perceives you as the horse being able to move through, like being very powerful, moving through that. But together, when you come together, you feel it very much in the emotions, or when you think about each other, you get triggered emotionally. And that's kind of a new thing for both of you. You can't put words to it. You can't just bulldoze over it. And that's how you deal with it. I mean, your connection makes each other feel it. Now, what triggered when you went into separation for your twin is the seed. I am getting a message from your twin that they want to give you, which is they want you to trust that they hold this connection very close to them. They've put it in a place within them that's very deep, and they're protecting it. And they're saying, it's going to take some time for this to grow, for me to get there. And to trust them that they are on that journey. And that even though it's a small seed, it's seemingly small, it's been a very powerful experience for them. So in the separation, they are nurturing the seed, they're protecting this connection. It might appear at times that they are not doing anything with it from the outside looking in, but they are very aware. They have intentionally put this connection somewhere within them where it cannot be touched by anything or anyone else. And in quiet spaces, they're nurturing this connection and what it's awakened in them on this journey. And I feel it comes to them in the form of feelings, emotions. But there's a lot of layers that they are working through and experiencing and uncovering on this journey that they're on now, that this awakening has put them on. It's a lot for them. And what has triggered in you in the separation is the nectar. You are seeing life in a much more vivid manner because your awareness is heightened for your twin, and your emotions have been triggered. They are being triggered. They get triggered around your twin. It's added a lot of color to your world. It's being in separation from your twin is bittersweet because you're being challenged in the separation phase to hold that expectant state, to hold that space in between. It's really making you tap into your divine knowing, and it's like elevating you. It's bringing a sweetness to your day-to-day reality, but it's not without its challenges. In the card of the nectar, in the center is that space, and then you've got the outside of all those vivid colors, which are the same colors as the higher power card. They're just more vivid. The higher power card colors are more muted because you're really holding a lot in the dynamic in this separation. If you look at the seed card and the nectar card, you can see the drastic difference in the energy between you two and what you are both doing for the connection at this time. It's a very intense experience for you in this separation. You have moments of intensity because you're really holding that space, and it can feel like there's no beginning or ending to it. It's space. May feel like there's nothing in it, and you're having to sit in that. And it may create a lot of emotions for you just being in that space. And the card in that center has a flower. That is the seed that your twin is holding that will eventually take root and blossom. So for you to hold that space it's bittersweet because that flower is not quite there yet. That union hasn't quite happened. When it comes together into that higher power union, the colors will mute down because you're both holding it instead of just you. That knowing, that very conscious knowing, trusting. But eventually your twin will do what they need to do for that seed, and you're holding that space for that flower to grow so that union can come together and stay together. And when you do cross paths but the union doesn't hold, it is a glimpse into that space of being filled with that flower. It's maybe catching that fragrance where we've experienced that before together. It's that familiarity, that feeling like you're home, and you're going to feel it in the emotions. So when your partner feels very like more removed from the connection in the separation, that can be your twin balancing your intense emotions in holding that space. Your intense emotions can help your twin to go into those layers, to continue to cultivate the rooting and the growing of whatever is in that seed, to get them coming back to you. So in the connection right now, in the separation phase, you two are very much playing off of each other. but you're not, of course, seeing that, but you and your twin are feeling that. And the emotions that are coming up are worth acknowledging and feeling, but not, but using the power of the horse and the crow to not get weighed down in that and lost in the emotions. They're meant to just be experienced and identified and incorporated, used as tools to continue the journey, to continue holding the space, but not used as being careful to not let the emotions turn against you, where you hit phases of like depression or hopelessness, anger, detachment. It's like you need to feel it. You both need to feel it, but you need to keep moving these emotions, because the union is about healing, and this separation is not meant to be traumatic. It's meant to continue towards that being experts in the healing together, learning how to move through the layer of the emotions together. I hope this helped for you. That is the reading for pile 2. Hi, if you chose pile 3, then you chose the selenite crystal. The selenite crystal assists in communication with the angelic realm, with your spirit guides, or with loved ones who have passed on. I am getting a sense that the way that you and your twin came together for the very first time was very divinely guided. You both may have even acknowledged or felt that there was, maybe it was your angels who brought you together, or a loved one who is no longer here on this earth plane, that they brought you together. It just feels like the way you came together, like it shouldn't have happened, but it did. I also get a sense that you and your twin are very much in the mental space with each other, and that's how you feel each other, is through the mental plane. You telepathically communicate quite often, most of the time at night. I get the sense that at night the mental plane between you and your twin becomes very active. When you two come into union in this life, what will come of you coming together, what it will express is the new life energy. Together, it's a very pioneering energy. It's an excitement to be on the cutting edge, on the leading edge. Your type of twin dynamic in the new life energy will be on the front lines, leading humanity into the new earth. It's just an adventurous spirit that's not afraid to not know what's up ahead. You're going to lead the way anyway, because that's just so exciting for your twin. And for you, you can see what is up ahead, even if you don't actually see it with your own eyes. There's just that clarity going into the unknown, and like a certainty where you just know where you're going. You're not afraid to be on the front lines either. Now, your word is clarity in this dynamic, and it's that ability to kind of see the future, to see where the path is leading mentally, to get you have an ability to stake out a plan. You can see it through to the end in your mind, in your mind's eye. You might be very psychic. I feel that when you and your twin communicate telepathically, you're very good at being able to decipher when it's your twin's thoughts and when it's not. You have an ability to just clear that mental plane, to have a clear vision of the connection of all the different stages of the connection. You have an ability to see the big picture. Now, your twin's word is birth. Your twin likes trying new things, but is also in this connection, they're being birthed anew. A new part of them is coming forward. They feel adventurous. There's an adventurousness to you both, especially when you come together, but that birth word for your twin, the different stages of birth in the womb, and then the baby has to come through the birth canal, and they can't see what's on the other side. They don't know what's outside of that incubation and then being on the journey on that path. They can't see the other side like you can. That's where that clarity comes in. Your twin needs you to hold that space while your twin is coming to life in a new way. They don't really know what's on the other side of that. They just know they're in it, and they have an excitement about it, but they can get stuck in that birth energy. It hasn't birthed, but it is in a birthing process, and where you hold that clarity is what's on the other side of it. Their energy of that birth energy helps you to put your feet on the ground and actually walk the path, maybe get a little out of your head, because I think you can get a lot in your head, and that birth process is actually getting out of the planning and the dreaming of what's in the future and just really getting into the experience of the connection itself. Now, what ignited when you first met each other, what ignited for your twin when your twin met you for the first time was the sword. The sword is that mental space. It's the intellect, the thoughts. It could be the words. What happened was when they met you is they got an awareness of the sword. It's a weapon, it's a tool, depending on how you use it. And they got an awareness of it all of a sudden with how powerful their words are, how powerful their thoughts are, how they can use this sword to cut through their own mask, their own illusions, other people's illusions, the illusions of the life they've built, getting clarity, which is what the space that you hold. And you just showed that to them. They didn't have clarity before, and now the journey is to get that clarity because you've shown them what clarity is. But they're figuring out how to use this sword, that they've used it wrong in the past in ways that could be damaging. They could still at times be using it where it could hurt, it could sabotage their own life, or it could hurt others with cutting words, or they could just cut people off. But they can also clear the path. They don't just have to be blindly on this journey anymore. They can actually become much more intentional about where they are going and what they want to see on this new life path that they're on now that they know you exist. Now, what ignited for you is the eternal child. This is the wounded child within you, that what was shown to you is that there's a part of you where you didn't get your needs met. You're seeing where maybe that clarity, you've gotten so good at clarity because of a hyper awareness of an environment that you were in as a child that because you had to plan or be clear, decipher what people were really trying to say. There's a part of you that needs to be seen and witnessed by you. That's what came up for you when you met your twin. Your twin saw that child inside of you, and you saw the sword of your twin. It's more the shadow side of these aspects of you both, which helped you to see it in yourself when you met. And now the journey is how does your twin use the sword how do you work with your eternal child who will always be inside of you? What does your inner child need? You're learning how to work with that part of you, to give that inner child a new life, to birth a new life for that inner child. So your twin is holding that energy. They are very good at that birth process, that birth energy, something new. And you're learning how to be in that inner child and not just intellectually think you understand it or you have clarity about it just mentally. It's more about being with that part of yourself and truly interacting with that part of yourself. It's so interesting because your twin is trying to figure out how to use the sword to gain clarity, and you're trying to figure out how to birth the inner child. You know, you both are holding the opposite. You're very good at what the twin is trying to do and learn how to be good at. You're already good at, and vice versa. Now, how your twin perceives you as the Scorpion, very sexual. There's a sexual energy between you two. That you really arouse them. If you have been sexual, maybe you guys have revealed sexual sides to yourselves that you never felt safe to reveal to others. But with each other, you're able to just be very primal and more vulnerable sexually. You have a protective exterior. You have a stinger to protect yourself. You're actually very vulnerable and soft on the inside, but you protect yourself by not showing that. And you have the stinger and you're not afraid to use it because you're protecting the eternal child within you. That's just been a coping mechanism for you. In the sting and in the poison is also the venom used to heal. It's the medicine. There's also something about you where they feel that your ability to go into darker spaces is helping them. It could be from your past where you weren't afraid to be in darker space. That's how you got your clarity, because you've been in darker energies or more traumatic experiences that felt very heavy, and you just figured out how to navigate the underworld much better than them. So they see you as a teacher while they're beginning to see with the sword, the darkness that they have in their own life, like the murkiness where they've had a mask or they've created an illusion or people have created illusions for them. And they're starting to clear that, and they're seeing the darkness now. They didn't even see it before. They thought they thought they were clear, but they weren't. They see that they're learning from you that you know how to navigate that kind of darkness. So you hold that space for them while they are starting to see it for the first time and figuring out how to clear it. They have to see it first. You may have said something to them that really affected them, that got them triggered, but it was almost like a necessary thing. It was that medicine, like giving them a taste of their own medicine. Now you perceive your twin as the elephant, wise, protective. They may physically have a huskier, broader physical aspect to them, that they are passionate about you, or they hold a passion, they're able to bring out passion sexually with you, that they've been through a lot too, that they also have a harder exterior, like a tough guy exterior. They've been through some stuff too, and they didn't come out unscathed. They came out with their own protection mechanisms, and I think it might be almost like puffing themselves up bigger or scarier or come off more intimidating. They may have a really good memory. They may remember all the details of when they met you or all the times that they've interacted with you. They may have a really good memory around all that. Now, what triggered when you went into separation for your twin is the empty room. Your twin is lonely in the separation, and as they're clearing away all the illusions and beliefs that don't work for them anymore, the clarity that they're seeing is that the separation is making them see how alone they are, but also the connection with you is giving them a sense of connection to stuff that's so much bigger. So it's like twofold for them. At night, they almost get a sense of overwhelm. This is when that mental connection with you triggers and you both become very active in the mental plane with each other is at night, because the darkness overwhelms them. They may not sleep very well, or they might be more like night owls. They can just feel the bigness of everything, and then they might feel very small in all of that. They may be getting a sense that they just feel alone now because they're clearing out the people that have not been good for them. And so they're just feeling vulnerable in their aloneness, but at the same time, that empty room card, you can see stars shining like it's the sky. It's a sense of connection with you that they find comfort in, and they find it oftentimes at night with you. Now, what triggered for you in the separation is the mountain. This came up in my last twin flame check-in. This separation has challenged your clarity because you're on one of these paths on the mountain, and there's times where you have questioned what is up ahead. Are we ever going to get there? So you've really had to rely on trusting that you do know what's up ahead, even if you can't see it yourself. You feel lonely as well, being in separation from your twin. It's been a hard trek. It's felt like especially challenging since you were lost with your twin. In some ways, the clarity is there because you know that you know the journey, you trust it, you know what it is, you know that there's a union at some point. I think you have moments of doubt, but the way that you are dealing with the loneliness being in separation from your twin is also healing the eternal child within you, doing things that are playful, nurturing, and giving yourself what you need. It's very important that you do that on this part of the twin journey. And I find it interesting that the empty room card is the night sky, and then the mountain card. Put those together, you're both very much in each other's awareness, and you're supporting each other from afar, like you're part of the same picture. You guys have been through a lot individually and together, not just in this life, but past lives. Your connection almost feels like the mountain. Oh, another ridge, another steep climb, another rocky, slippery slope. It can feel very overwhelming, but there's a real beauty in that too. You may be venturing out into nature more in this separation phase and finding solace in nature. So that is what I have for you for pile 3. Thanks for listening.